This is a poem that I wrote many, many years ago, and I haven't done for many, many years. Some will say that's good, others will say it's not. And I just thought I might do it tonight for a change, mainly because when we're in Western Australia, a woman and a man were charged with attempting to kill the woman's husband, and they tried various methods. They sabotaged his car, they tried to run over him, and they put ground glass in his mashed potato, which made me think of a poem that I wrote many years ago called The Ballad of Sweet Abigail. Some ask me why it is that I drink neither sweetened coffee nor tea. For a view of the time, I'll tell you in rhyme how my aversion came to be. And of all the stories you may hear, you shan't hear one much stranger than the sad tale of sweet Abigail and her love for a wild bush ranger. Up on the Queensland border near the town from where I hail, a farmer had a daughter whom he called Sweet Abigail. And they say she was an angel with blonde hair and eyes of blue, till she took up with the bushranger, the worst thing she could do. For though it said some goodness in the least of us can be found, that man was purely badness, and for hell was surely bound. Now what made a girl like Abigail choose this devil's son still remains a mystery. Well, to almost everyone. And though she broke her father's heart and filled his life with grief, none could persuade her to depart from nor leave this evil thief. For she believed he loved her and would love her forevermore. The sad part of our story is she had never loved before. Then one day they caught that fellow and a safe went off with a bang, and because he shot the teller, the judge decreed he'd hang. But just one day before his debt he paid by departing this mortal coil. Sweet Abby rode to his aid, but alas, her plans were foiled. For as they fled, a bullet sped and struck her in the back, and though she pleaded for his help, he left her wounded on the track. The troopers came and captured her and cast her into jail, and for 5 long years she languished there. Poor sweet Abigail. Though as she served a sentence in a cold grey prison cell, sweet Abby met many other women who had similar tales to tell of how that evil man had deserted them in the past, and as she quietly listened, she began to see at last. Soon within her shattered heart a desire for vengeance grew, and she planned to the smallest part precisely what she'd do. So when at last they freed her and swung wide that prison gate, out stepped 5'7", her blonde-haired, blue-eyed hate. Now listen well, you gentlemen. You have ladies as your friends, for there's a message for you in this story, and especially how it ends. Abigail remembered well the outlaw's secret lair, from which he descended night, wreaking terror everywhere. So, saddling a horse, she bravely rode that secret mountain track, and when at last she arrived, why, he foolishly welcomed her back. For of her plan she gave that man not the slightest indication, and he, poor fool, believed that she accepted his explanation, and that she truly forgave him. For 5 long years in jail, and once again he was sure he had duped sweet Abigail. But during the night, as he slept, leaving Abby to guard the pass, Abby retrieved from her saddlebags 2 ounces of powdered glass. This she mixed with the sugar she knew he loved in his tea. And she quietly crept back to her swag, to gloat on his destiny. Now it was early in the morning when that bad man he awoke, and as if he understood her plans, the very first words he spoke were, "Oh, my darling Abby, if you'd care to, just for me, rustle up the fire, love, and make me a billy of tea." Well, what was Abby to do? As a woman, she knew her place. So she made his billy of tea with a smile upon her face, and settling back with the faintest hint of a satisfied grin, she watched the outlaw swallow the tea, drink the tea and swallow the glass with him. At first the glass caused no distress and slid down his throat quite well, just as Abigail had been taught by the murderess who'd shared the cell. But as it commenced its journey through his liver and kidneys and veins, the glass commenced to cut and slice and inflict its fatal stings. As he died, she knelt by his side, watching him twitch and shake, feeling less than if she'd been killing a slithering, poisonous snake. Before he expired, she inquired, had he ever loved her true? And with his dying breath, he replied, "Me love a fool like you?" And Abigail gently whispered into the outlaw's ear, "The ladies from Long Bay Jail sadly regret they can't be here. But they will send their love and wish you the best for eternity, and they'll be very pleased to hear how much you enjoyed their tea." Then in that cave she dug his grave and buried with his gold, and once again she became the sweet Abigail of old. And still from that misty mountain where the hawks and eagles fly, some folks dare say that to this day it comes a tortured cry. Now, if any of you would doubt my story, I can assure you it is true. For I married that girl, sweet Abigail, with the blonde hair and eyes that blue, and years ago, before she died, she recounted the tale to me. And from that day hence, you may be sure, it was I who dispensed the tea. Thank you.